your political theater to Texas.
This is not about political theater.
And it was more political theater than anything.
It's nothing more than pure political theater.
It's pure political theater.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Oh my gosh. Thank you for being here. We are going to keep the allegedly banner on because unlike some others, we try to maintain some decorum here and not draw any conclusions. Although we also know, for those of us with halfway decent vision, we know what it is that we are looking at. Please be sure to hit the like button on your way in. That lets the algorithm know that we are live and that we are here. If this is your first time here and you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. Please let people know that we are live. If you are on Threads or on Facebook, please let people know. I am currently streaming on YouTube and Facebook. Okay. Now, normally I do political theater on Tuesdays and Fridays, but today, we just got news of yet another killing by ICE. And I want to warn people, I am going to show some videos, okay? I'm going to show videos. Hey, Dr. Hall, good to see you. Hey, Katie. Good to see you folks in the chat. I'm going to show some videos, and these videos may be difficult to watch. I know a lot of people have feelings about watching those kinds of videos, so I'm warning you so that you can practice self-care. I am somebody who does believe in bearing witness to these things, and I do want us to kind of look at these videos and make sure that we all agree with what we're looking at. So I'm going to show videos of what happened today. I'm also going to show videos of, you know, some of the press conferences and things like that, and we'll have the conversation. You know, this is really tragic. For those who may not have heard, this is Alex Pretti, Alex Jeffrey Pretti, a 37-year-old VA nurse, VA working for the Veterans Affairs. He was in the streets today with protesters, and by all accounts, he was exercising his First Amendment rights, his constitutional rights. He was doing what we are all called to do, right? When the government begins to conduct itself in a way that the people disagree with, the First Amendment says that we have the right to petition the government for redress. Just another way of saying that we have the right to protest. So I just want to show a couple of videos. Let me load them up. There's so many angles. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show videos from different angles. I'm going to show the first one that most of us saw, which was from across the street. I'm going to show the one from the lady in the pink coat. And then I'm going to show some videos of like the aftermath as well as the protests. So give me 1 second as I load that. And I create this space because I feel like we need to come together. And so I see you in the chat. I see you all. Like, this is what we do. We create community for each other. We are here. We are together. We are holding space for his spirit and all the people that knew and loved him. And we're holding space for ourselves. So let's get into this. Let's see. All right. So this is the first video.
They killed him.
I'm going to start it over.
He is a number of officers surrounding the suspect.
Officers.
At some point, we hear the shot, and then we see the man trying to get up, but immediately goes down to the floor.
What the?
Okay, so
They killed my.
I want you to pay attention to the guy that ends
And
up
then we
running
see the
towards
man
us.
trying to get up, but
This
immediately
guy
goes
right
down
here,
to the floor.
running. He has a gun in his hand. They say that's the gun he took from
Did
the,
they kill that guy? Are you kidding me, dude? Not again. Are you kidding me? That guy's dead.
A Department of Homeland Security official later said.
So what we saw in that video, now I know I wear glasses, but what I saw was several ICE agents tackling this man down to the ground. And I saw someone pull something from him. They say he was carrying a gun. That's some of the reports allegedly, I'm not sure, but it does look like one of the agents pulled his gun from his holster and pulled away, right? So again, posing no real threat to them. Just want people to know that you can carry a concealed weapon in the state of Minnesota. That is not against the law. In fact, according to our Second Amendment, we have the right to bear arms, particularly, and this is the part people always forget, we have the right to form a militia to protect against a terrorist state, right? And I think we all understand that the Department of Homeland Security is a terrorist state. You know, and at this point, I'm just going to say whatever, because if they come for me, they come for me. I don't actually care, but that's the truth. We understand that the United States is a terrorist government. The United States is probably the biggest terrorist organization in the world, right? The United States government, backed up by its military. And you know, you guys know how I feel about the military. So if you're new here, don't get in all your feelings. If you somebody, I went because I didn't have any other options, that's okay. But you also are part of the terrorist imperialism of the United States. And that's a choice that you made, and it's one that you have to live with. Now we have another angle that I want to show folks. Hold on one second. Now, in that video, CNN didn't show it, but there was a woman in the back and she was wearing kind of like a magenta colored coat. She was also recording. And the first thing I thought to myself is we need to see that angle because she was like literally right there. So we're going to show that right now. Again, trigger warning. This is violent. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to start it over. So you see people are in the streets and he's recording. You see him right there. That's him. That's Alex right there. He's recording. He is armed with a camera. He is armed with a camera. That's all he has in his hand. He's wearing a coat. You cannot see any gun visible. They have no idea whether or not he has a gun or not, right? None of us can tell that this man is carrying a weapon. Therefore, he's not posing any immense threat. As you can see, he is actually protecting these women, okay? The ICE agents are going after these women. He's putting himself in between the women and the ICE agents. They are pepper spraying everybody. He's trying to protect the women. Okay, I'm actually going to go back a little bit. I want you to see this. There, see how the ICE agent, she moves her camera, but the ICE agent is kind of attacking this woman. He pulls her away, and then this ICE agent goes and pushes another woman just to push her. There's absolutely no reason for him to push this woman. Look at this. She's just standing there. Look, see? See, and he comes in to protect this woman and try to get, you know, cover her and get out of the way. They're spraying him because he's getting in the way of their right to abuse these women. And see, they're still focusing on these women, right? Two of them are focusing on these women. Now they turn their attention to him. So now it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then there's the first gun. Okay, and I'm going to run this back again just one more time because I want you to hear the delay. Anybody who owns a gun, knows how to shoot a gun, you understand how long of a delay that was. Let's go back.
Honestly.
One. So you hear that? That delay is intense. You see how he pulls the gun out and then starts shooting? Okay, pay attention to this guy in the corner here. Hold on. Pay attention to him. He's focused on the women. He's focused on the women. But look, he's going to reach into his thing and he's going to shoot him. One. And then he pauses and keeps shooting. There was absolutely no reason for him to shoot that many times. Keep your eyes on him. This is the shooter. And right there in the middle, walking towards him. Puts the gun back in the holster very casually. Very casually.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
And see, they're pushing people back. They don't want anybody recording and catching this.
Oh my God! Oh my God! The fuck did you just do? The fuck did you just do?
These are the women running that he was protecting.
Yes, Liz, somebody call the ambulance. Somebody call the ambulance. Somebody needs to call the ambulance. Somebody call 911. I can't believe they just did that. Holy shit. Holy shit. Just get come on. Come
now
on.
she runs back to get a closer view. They appear to be taking his clothes
Oh
off.
my God, you fucking people, man. You're fucking killing us. Why would
They're
you
pushing
do
this
that?
woman away.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I can't believe I'm seeing this. I can't believe I'm seeing this. Oh my God. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come here, come on.
Oh, look, he falls
Come
in the
here.
ice.
It is.
There's no medics, by the way. There's no medic. Okay. And so I know that that's hard to watch, and I know I ran it back a few times, but I just think that it's important to see exactly what happened. To see exactly what happened, because they're going to lie, right? The police always lie. And that's one of the things that some of you are just now learning. Some of you are just now waking up to the fact that you cannot trust the police. There's no such thing as a good cop. Around here, we believe all cops are bastards. Because when you willingly sign up and join to become a part of the police state, you officially become an enemy of the people. I don't care your race. I don't care your gender. I don't care your sexual orientation. I don't care about any of that. You have chosen to be on the other side of the people. Now, if you don't understand that policing in the United States began with slavery enforcement, then I don't know what to tell you. But the legacy of policing has never shifted. It's never shifted. And just so you know, if you are new to this, because I see the numbers rising in the chat, I am a Black woman who did not vote for Kamala Harris. And I have to say that because you all need to understand my political praxis. I'm left of the leftists, right? I don't call myself a leftist because I don't believe that leftists do enough. So if you're new here, if you are saying stupid things in the chat, I actually do curate an echo chamber. And so I will block you. I don't care about your opinions. If you guys see somebody that needs to be blocked, please let me know. Put it in the chat. If you have my phone number, text me or whatever. Because this is an echo chamber. This is a community that we have built. And I don't actually care about your oppositional views. I know what I saw. I know what the hell I just watched. Okay? I know what I just watched. Okay? So left. That's right. So izquierda. mucho. Izquierda, okay? Mr. B. Jewel, you said I need to ban. Okay, let me ban this person then. Thanks, guys, everybody. I appreciate you all. Keep the chats, keep the space the way it's supposed to be. You know, and I brought up Rodney King earlier because I said, those of us that are older, right? You know, I was born April 6, 1979. I see your thing says 4879. It made me think about that. I was there watching this on video, right? Somebody had a camcorder back in the day and recorded Rodney King being beaten within an inch of his life. Beaten within an inch of his life on camera. And then the trial came and all of them were acquitted. Because that was the message then, right? And we have to contextualize that also because we're talking about the early 90s. And one thing that we do know around that time was that there was a lot of cultural movements happening, right? Between hip hop becoming a lot more conscious, right? It went from just being something that was in the clubs to people actually starting to make political statements, right? We end up getting like songs like Fuck the Police. We get the Poor Righteous Teachers. We get all these kind of people that are like bringing this cultural consciousness to hip hop. But then we also have the alternative grunge music movement, right? And they start critiquing the establishment as well. So this is all starting to happen around this time. And so trust me when I say that the government pays attention to the cultural climate of things. And when that happened with Rodney King, the message was very clear, very clear. We'll do whatever we want and you'll take it. And that led to riots, right? And so for anybody that's like wondering why these people are taken to the streets in Minneapolis, is because that's what people do. You don't get to just kill somebody and think it's okay and just get away with it. The day that we get to the point where the police kill somebody and we don't do anything, that's when they have won. We saw this at the Ferguson uprisings, and this is something that I brought up the other day. A lot of you didn't learn from the Ferguson uprisings, okay? You didn't learn what was happening down in Ferguson and St. Louis and as a result of Mike Brown being killed. And then we watched, them lie to us about Sandra Bland. We saw Philando Castile sit in his car, tell them that he has a gun, that he was legally, had the right to carry, and they shot him right in front of his partner and his child. We have seen so many examples of this. All these women that have been killed by the police just showing up to their doors and shooting them. Sister Sonia, I forgot her last name. Somebody remind me in the chat, where she said, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." And he just shot her because she rebuked him. She posed no threat at all. But that's what they do. And so now what's happening is people who have lived comfortably in the privilege that they have had of not having this at their front door are starting to wake up. But guess what? This is not the first time. It's not the first time that we've had this kind of cultural awakening. Anybody want to guess when the last? Sonia Massey, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Sonia Massey, we say your name, sis. We say your name. Say her name. Say her name as a reminder. It's for Black women who have been victims of police violence, because we don't amplify their names. Just like that, I have forgotten her name. There's so many that are in my head. But that's why we have Say Her Name. So we make sure that you never forget that they're Black women that are also being killed by the police. But this is not the first time that this has happened. Does anybody in the chat remember the last time the United States had this kind of cultural awakening? And I'm going to take a sip of my drink because I know that there's a delay here. Yes, and this was in California, right? I believe. He was beating on her like he was a goddamn ape, okay? Like he was in Planet of Apes and was just pounding her in broad daylight. No, it's not 9/11. We got to go back a little bit further. We're going to go to the Civil Rights Movement, right? We're going to go to the Civil Rights Movement. Why do I say this? Because the Jim Crow was across the country. I know people like to say Jim Crow South. Jim Crow laws were in effect, whether they were officially on paper or they were laws that people enacted as societal norms, right? People in the North, Midwest, West Coast didn't actually know how bad it was in the South with how they were treating people. They had heard about the boycotts and the sit-ins, but they didn't actually see it. You know what changed? Media Scholar Television. White people in New York and Pennsylvania and Chicago and California started turning on their televisions to watch the news. And that's when they saw police hosing down Black kids, setting dogs on Black teenagers who their only crime was sitting at a lunch counter and asking for food. When they saw that, things changed. That's when we start getting the energy for legislation. That's when we end up with a John F. Kennedy. That's when we end up with a Civil Rights Act, because people could see things with their own eyes now, and you can't turn away from that. And that's the other side of why these videos and things are important. Now, you'll hear me say, like, you know, you guys have to act. We have to act. Recording is absolutely important. Don't ever take me saying this as we shouldn't record. We absolutely need to record. Whether or not it matters, we don't know, but at least there's documentation. The other thing that I've often also told y'all is to call the police. Everybody, and this is the only time I remember, you guys, if you follow me for a long time, you know the only time I will ever tell you to call the police is in times like this, to report police brutality, because then you have a record of it. You are calling the operator. All of those calls are recorded. You're getting a documented timestamp documentation of what is going on. If you witness somebody being harassed or brutalized by the police, you have to call 911 and you have to report it. And if you're, hopefully you're not by yourself, if you're with somebody else, somebody records, somebody calls the police. That way we are creating a record of it, right? Because sometimes them people walking the beat ain't even supposed to be there. So that's your way of creating like a paper trail and a record of what is happening at that time. Don't think just because a police officer is harassing you or whatever that they're even supposed to be there. Call the police. I would like to report this officer is harassing me and threatening my life. That's all you got to do. Get as hyperbolic as they are. Lie if you need to. I don't give a shit. Get it on record. Okay. So in the civil rights movement, that's when we saw that. So let's go look at some of these other things that they were talking about. There's some other stuff. I want to show you some of the aftermath, because this is going to get into my next point. If you're new here, you got to know that I do my own stage managing because I'm poor.
Again, we're looking at there is something more than 5 times the size of Minneapolis police in federal agents in Minnesota right now. So you're right. They're not even close to being having that. Again, we're looking at weaponry here. These are
there's no reason for them to be walking around with those guns
out. Are the kinds of things that you fire pepper balls or tear gas out of. There is some live weaponry. We did see earlier one of the officers taking a handgun out. I do have a statement. I have a number of new statements that I need to read to you before we hear from the mayor of Minneapolis, who's expected to speak within the next 5 minutes. DHS has now put out a statement. Let me read this to you. David Rode, I want you to just listen to this with me because there's a lot of detail.
These men are wearing jeans.
At 9:05 a.m. Central Time, as DHS law enforcement officers were conducting a targeted operation in Minneapolis against an illegal alien wanted for violent assault, an individual approached U.S. Border Patrol with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun seen here. The officers attempted to disarm the suspect, but the armed suspect violently resisted. More details on the armed struggle are forthcoming. Fearing for his life and the lives and safety of fellow officers, an agent fired defensive shots. Medics on scene immediately delivered medical aid to the subject, but the subject was pronounced dead at the scene. The suspect also had 2 magazines and no ID. This looks like a situation where an individual wanted to do maximum damage and massacre law enforcement. About 200 rioters arrived at the scene and began to obstruct and assault law enforcement on the scene. Crowd control measures were deployed for the safety of the public and law enforcement. The situation is evolving and more information is forthcoming. There is something more.
So I think that that's important to can we just okay, guys. What have I been saying this whole time? That these are a bunch of basement-dwelling incels who want to play Call of Duty in real time. That's it. And I heard that there's a video of them joking about how it's like Call of Duty for them, right? I've been saying this. Sometimes you gotta listen to people who know what they're talking about. So if I can break this down a little bit for you. All right. Before I get into this, again, if you are new here, if you just got here, hit that like button, please. Hit the like button. If you are new, subscribe to my channel. We're happy to have you. We break down these things all the time. Tuesdays and Fridays, we're live. then we have special moments like this. So hit that subscribe button and join me. I'm trying to get to 5,000 subscribers. I don't know why I'm stuck at like 4,700. That's crazy. Come on, guys, get me to 5,000. All right, so I'm old enough to remember, and guys, I've been drinking mezcal, so if I get a little loosey, I used my Bartesian and I made myself a drink. Now, if you all remember, now I'm going to take us back on the journey. So it's 2026. Let's go back to 2013. 2013-ish. I'm going to say ish, 14-ish. A bunch of us started realizing that we were gaining traction on social media, right? Now, a lot of us, we were bloggers. We had been online. My first online account, I think I had it like 1996 or 7. I was on AOL. I was chatting. You know, we do this thing. So this is nothing new. We've been about that life. A lot of us were bloggers. I started blogging in 2004 or whatever. And so when this new era of social media popped up, we kind of joined and switched. But then when Trayvon Martin was actually, the Arab Spring was first. Oscar Grant had been killed in 2009, but we were just now getting on Twitter then. Stop and frisk. There was a lot of movement around stop and frisk in 2012. We were having protests and such in New York. And then Trayvon Martin is killed, right, in 2013. So when Trayvon Martin is killed, this is when the Black Lives Matter movement begins. Now, I actually have students who think it began with George Floyd, which is really interesting, right? That's why we got to teach the babies. Shout out to Dr. David Johns. But that's when the Black Lives Matter movement started. And people were like, oh, snap. Like, we're going through this again. Then 2014, we get Mike Brown and things like that. So You OK Sis comes out of 2014. National Moment of Silence comes out of 2014. Shout out to me. And then what we started realizing is that because we had this clout, a lot of people were really interested in what we had to say, but also a lot of people were interested in suppressing what we had to say. And so we started noticing what they call sock puppet accounts. Okay. This is when people would reclaim like old accounts that had gone dormant and things like that, would use them to post whatever kind of things, or they would create these kind of we call them bots now, but they would create these kind of fake accounts in which they would come and try to cause chaos. And around this time, this is when we began to start tracing them back to their caves. And we found that those caves were 4chan. Anybody know what 4chan is? Okay, 4chan is a message board. Okay, the same way we had OK Player, we had the blog era in hip hop and all the message boards. They also had message boards, right? This is before even Reddit got that popular, but Reddit was, coming along and popping too. 4chan was this hub, and there was one particular board, 4chan.poll, and I'm actually gonna open that up because it's still active. Hold on. Let me see. I'm gonna pull it up for you. All right. I'm going to share this with you all because you need to see this. I actually follow along and I check in on them many times. Okay. This is politically incorrect. Okay. This is politically incorrect. As it says, this board is for discussion of news, world events, political issues, and other related topics. Okay. This is where they go to talk about things. Okay. And when you go through, you look right here, somebody says, just don't be a professional agitator trying to impede law enforcement operations and deportations of criminals. Easy. They use a lot of horrible language over here. They use every slur that you could possibly think, but they have these gatherings. Okay. A lot of psycho leftists are nurses and doctors that blame white men for gun violence. It's very amusing, like all this kind of stuff. Right. So this is a message board that exists, y'all. Okay. Just want to make sure that y'all understand this. And so we could see where they were plotting things. Okay. They were plotting coordinated attacks to cause chaos. Why do you ask? Because it's funny to them. It's funny. You know how rage bait, they said it was like the word of the year or whatever. This is old. They liked causing chaos. They liked to see people with large accounts lose their minds, you know, go crazy and spend their time spinning wheels and, you know, responding and basically kind of like, oh, they call you feminist bitch. It's like, I'm not a feminist bitch. You know, all that kind of stuff. That was their goal. And then they would run back to 4chan, politically incorrect, 8chan, Reddit, wherever they were. And they would be like, look what we did. This is so fun. Right? Then Gamergate happens. How many of you remember Gamergate? Take a sip of my well-designed drink. Gamergate comes because, how do I simplify Gamergate? Let me give you a ChatGPT version of Gamergate. There were some women that were becoming popular as gamer influencers, right? Now, video games, right? The boys don't want the girls playing video games, right? The average, you know, your typical misogynist will be like, oh, you play games? Name 5 games that came out in 1983. You know, they always, a lot of men tend to do that because they don't think that women are capable. So some women were kind of becoming influential about it. I believe Anita Sarkeesian starts writing about some of the violence and stuff that is happening in game spaces. Some other women start speaking up because now you can play games online, right? You couldn't always play games online. Now you can play games online. So what happens when people go to play games online? They got their headphones on, they're playing games, and somebody is in their ear telling them to go kill yourself, you fucking cunt. I'm gonna lynch you effing N-word. Like, what? That's what the online gaming starts really exposing just how rabid these men are. Right? Again, we're talking, this is over a decade ago. Okay. So what does this say? If you can't answer my obscure question about my interest, you're a fraud vibes. Yeah, something like, yeah, exactly. That is exactly how they are, right? Oh, you love anime? Name what happened in episode 4 of Pokemon. Like, shut the fuck up. Yes, this is about like a decade ago, right? So this exploded into a whole thing. I got pulled into Gamergate. And I'm a gamer, but I'm not an online gamer. I got pulled into it because I'm a feminist. You know? Like, it was this whole thing. And so it was a well-coordinated attack. And we're talking hundreds of thousands of posts. I mean, millions, actually, of posts trolling women, antagonizing women. Any woman that was online speaking up for women, whether you were a gamer or not, you could post, and we couldn't limit, replies back then. You'd get a whole mess of all these fake accounts or whatever, these sock puppet accounts, just harassing you, calling you every name under the sun, blah, blah, blah. Shafika Hudson, rest in peace to her, came up with a hashtag, your slip is showing. And that was designed to expose these sock puppet accounts and expose them because they were coordinating attacks on Black feminist women. Why were they doing that? Because it was becoming clear that we were kind of dominating these social media spaces, Black women dominating these social media spaces. Oh, you know what? There's a book about that. Wow. There's a book about Black women and how they use social media. You might want to go get it. I'm an expert here, right? So I'll never forget the famous End Father's Day. This was a coordinated attack. They sat on these message boards and they were like, we're going to cause chaos. We're going to mess with them. We're going to sow division in the Black community. We're going to create this fake hashtag called End Father's Day. Oh, you want me to plug the book? I always plug the book. It's right here. I keep it right here. Oh, look at that. How Black feminists are changing the world from the tweets to the streets. See that? Reclaiming our space. Go buy that book. I still get royalties from that. Thank you. So End Father's Day comes and it works. Somebody pretends to be a Black woman. They come online and they post this thing, how we need to end Father's Day. And I was like, what? We want you niggas to be fathers. We're not talking about ending Father's Day. And it turns into, you know, something, this whole big thing to where even Black celebrities are kind of weighing in like, this is the problem with feminism. It's bad for our community and all these kinds of things. We didn't do that. It was them. Okay. Then we start seeing an uptick in school shootings and mass shootings, right? Who remembers Elliot Rodgers? Let me pull him up. Let's see. Elliot Rodgers. Let's see. God, what a loser. Let me show you. Okay, this was Elliot Rodgers, right? Elliot Rodgers wrote he was a mass shooter or whatever, and he wrote this manifesto about, you know, basically hating women and everything like that. Elliot Rodgers became the patron saint of incels. And I don't know if you guys know that, okay? They started acting like he was Jesus. He was everything to them. And they started talking about how they aspire to be like him. Whenever there's a mass shooting, the first thing I do is go to 4chan to see who's trying to claim it. And you know what you'll see? They'll be like, was that one of us? Was that one of our guys? Did we pull this off? Oh my God, it's so based. Oh, you know, this was amazing. They celebrate it because of the infamy. Again, in my book, I talk about how Black women popularized the use of hashtags related to these kind of social events and things like that, popular things, live tweeting and things like that. We started hashtagging people's names when they were killed by the police, right? Propels them into infamy. They started talking on these boards about how they could gain notoriety. They saw themselves as martyrs for their cause. And so when a mass shooting would happen, they would try to say, well, which one of us was that? Was he one of us? Was he one of us? They loved that. Again, we're talking like, you know, how many years ago. So imagine, exactly, it's the only way that they get attention. Absolutely. Now, fast forward, how old do you think these people are right now? Might be the right age to join ICE, right? Right? Because they spent all that time in their message boards and playing Call of Duty and Fallout and all this other shit with their headphones on in their mom's basement in a gaming chair just like this. And they became radicalized. Then YouTube comes in and all, you know, YouTube becomes really big. And the algorithm, social media starts perpetuating this. So they're building these enclaves in which they're bouncing violence off of each other. They're playing these games and they're like creating oral fanfic about assaulting women and girls. This is who they are. Then we get things like that Telegram channel that had 70,000 people talking about how they could rape and abuse and kill each other's wives and mothers and sisters and daughters. All of this is coming out of this. And so here we are right now. Let me see if I can find that video because, let's see. There was a video I saw where they were interviewing people who were going to ICE to fill out like an application and stuff like that. And well, I can't find it right now, but they interviewed one guy and they asked him why he was there. It was like, you know, I've been unemployed for a while. You know, I want to serve my country, but you know, I couldn't get into the service. And then they said, well, why didn't you apply for another position, you know, within DHS? He's like, because I know I don't really qualify for those, because ICE lowered the standard so much that pretty much anybody can go and be an ICE agent, right? And this woman just did an expose on that, how she was like, you know, offered a job. They're trying to deny that it happened, but it took nothing for her to get a job at ICE. So ICE is currently hiring the lowest of the lowest of the lowest. Uneducated, functionally illiterate, probably don't live alone, or they're economically, you know, depressed, can't qualify for any other jobs, right? Because they barely finished college and barely finished high school, can barely read or write. So nobody else is going to hire them for like a real job, but ICE will. And then they're like offering them these bonuses, $50,000, blah, 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 which nobody has gotten yet. And then it's, you know, it's all of that. But also, it's the misogyny, damn it. More than the racism. And this is something that I need y'all to understand. These men are becoming ICE agents because they want to abuse women. I can't show you that because they'll ban my channel. So I talk to you all the time about how I study porn, right? And I look at, and because I always want to know if you want to know what men think and what they want, just look at what porn is popular. And I told you guys this last night, Border Patrol porn is very popular. If you don't know what Border Patrol porn is, and military porn, all of it focuses on sexually assaulting vulnerable women, right? So the scene is set up, it's men in a truck or something, they're patrolling the border, there's some women that are trying to cross, maybe they have a guy with them, they go, they tackle them, they take the guy, they tackle the guy, hold him down, they get the woman, and then they basically say, if you have sex with me, I'll let you cross the border. That's Border Patrol porn. You can all actually click over on your other tab, go to somewhere like Xvideos or Pornhub, or wherever you get your videos, and type in Border Patrol and see how many thousands of videos come up, right? So this is their fantasy. So what we're talking about now, let me actually just put this on the stage so I can see what y'all are talking about. Okay, what we're talking about is a conflation of all of this, right? We're talking the basement incels folks, we're talking about the video gamers, we're talking about the 4chan folks, we're talking about the functionally illiterate, unemployable, right? The disaffected white man. We're talking about the racists. We're talking about the misogynists. We're talking about the ones who see the opportunity to live out their porn fantasies, right? Because as much as I am a sex positive person and I advocate for porn, I also it would be irresponsible of me to not acknowledge that porn has gotten increasingly more violent. It has gotten increasingly more degrading to women. It has gotten increasingly more taboo, where taboo is now being so-called normalized. Like stepdaughter porn is like the most popular porn that there is, right? These men fantasize about assaulting their daughters, or daughters by marriage, or even their own daughters, right? This is huge, right? So you pull all of this together, and then you have a president who's like, you got to grab him by the pussy. I could shoot, somebody in the middle of Fifth Avenue and I wouldn't lose any votes. He has given them permission to live out these sordid, sick, twisted fantasies that they have. And he put out a call and said, we're going to actually pay you to do this. And that's what happens. They all sign up so that they can go and harass and assault women. They don't actually care about illegals. They care about the illegal women, though, because what's something that we don't hear much about? What happened to all the women that they have picked up? They picked up plenty of women. Where they at? Where they at? Now we know there's two things that generally happen. Well, three. One is they actually detain people who are not supposed to be here, who have they have warrants to detain people. These people have committed crimes, whatever situation is, they pick them up and they take them. That's how they primarily been functioning or whatever. Or they have a deportation order, right? So that's what Obama was doing. They were heavily enforcing these deportation orders. We know that they harass people without warrants and they pick them up because they're trying to fill a quota, right? We talked about this yesterday, but if you weren't here, they're trying to fill a quota, okay? They tell them that they have to rev it up. If you were here last night, this is a repetition, but I'm going to say it again. Trump is not happy with the numbers, right? So the Biden-Harris administration continued to build Trump's wall, right? They stole money from environmental agencies and other nonprofit agencies to fund the building of the wall that Trump started to build. And if you didn't know that, I just need you to read a little bit more. I need you to pay a little bit more attention to the news. Because what the Democrats don't do is they don't put everything on social media. They don't have camera crews running around, but they operate in the same way, okay? So they were continuing this wall. They were getting rid of everybody. Kamala Harris goes and says, my message to everyone is don't come. Don't come. Do not come. Don't come. Stay where the hell you are. Don't come. Right? Remember, we all remember the don't come thing, right? Okay. They were able to bring this border crossing damn near to a halt and get rid of a lot of people, right? Deporter in chief, Barack Obama, still holds the record for deporting people, which is what Trump is chasing, right? Because he damn sure ain't gonna lose to a black man, right? So, but the problem is that he can't even get the numbers because ain't nobody to do it. Well, I mean, if they focused on the white people, they'd have plenty. All those people that are here illegally from Europe, if they could just focus on them, then you get your quota up. But that doesn't work when you're trying to rebuild America into a white supremacist nation, right? Because that's the goal, right? The empire is about to fall. They're trying to plan for what happens on the other side, and they want it to be a white nation. So, of course, they're not going to kick out the white immigrants that have overstayed their visas by 20 years. Absolutely not. So anyway, he can't get the numbers. This is why they are in these cities that are not border cities. They're in these states that are not border states. They're in these places that don't have any real issues with immigration because he needs the numbers to get up. But he can't go into Texas, right, with Governor Abbott, who's been loyal. He can't go into Florida, where, come on, the boot is right there. Like, oh, Louisiana's the boot. But, he's not going to Louisiana either. Louisiana, Florida, and Texas, the border states, the southern border states, you would think that they would send ICE in this kind of force down there, right? No, they're not, because those are states run by people that suck his dick every night. So why would he do that? He's not going to get rid of that. So they're targeting the people that are his political enemies. Now, we know that is Trump's MO. He's always going to target people that are his political enemies, right? So where did he start all of this? Chat, give me a second. I'm going to drink my drink. I see the numbers increasing. Definitely hit that like button on your way in if this is your first time. Pour my little drink, sorry. Hit that subscribe button. Now, where did he start? California. Who was from California? Coconut Lady herself, Kamala Harris, right? How dare you run against me for president, bitch? Remember when he went to attack Howard University? He don't even know where Howard University is, but he wanted to try to take the money from them, because where did she graduate from? Howard. The attacks on Harvard University have absolutely nothing to do with anti-Semitism, have nothing to do with international students. Harvard had the audacity to graduate Barack Obama. And I know that you don't want to think about how petty that is, right? Because you're playing with literally millions of lives over petty beefs and a small penis. And yet here we are, right? So Harvard came under attack because he hates Barack Obama. They gave that nigga a degree. I'm just saying. And then, who was her running mate? Tim Walz. Tim Walz is the governor of what state? Everybody. Minnesota. That's how you say it, right? Minnesota. Minneapolis. We'll probably find out that Prince snubbed Trump or something like that. We'll probably find that out in the documents somewhere that Prince snubbed Trump, and that's why he's focused on Minneapolis. Maybe Trump knows he looks terrible in purple. You know, the pettiness of it is pretty ridiculous. But let's look at what Tim Walz was saying, because Tim Walz responded. So let's look at Tim Walz. Let's give him a okay. Let's see.
Stop being a matter of immigration. Well, as I said last week, this federal occupation of Minnesota long ago stopped being a matter of immigration enforcement. It's a campaign of organized brutality against the people of our state. And today that campaign claimed another life. I've seen the videos from several angles, and it's sickening. But I have a strong statement here for our federal government. Minnesota's justice system will have the last word on this. It must have the last word. As I told the White House in no uncertain terms this morning, the federal government cannot be trusted to lead this investigation. The state will handle it, period.
Okay.
Well, as I said last week.
All right, let's watch the mayor. Hold on. Share this. Let's watch the mayor here.
Involved in this operation. This is not a partisan issue. This is an American issue. This administration and everyone involved in this operation should be reflecting. They should be reflecting right now and asking themselves, what exactly are you accomplishing? If the goal was to achieve peace and safety, this is doing exactly the opposite. If the goal was to achieve calm and prosperity, this is doing exactly the opposite. Are you standing up for American families right now? Or are we tearing them apart? The invasion of these heavily armed masked agents roaming around on our streets of Minneapolis, emboldened with a sense of impunity, it has to end. This is not how it has to be. So, to President Trump, this is a moment to act like a leader. Put Minneapolis, put America first in this moment.
I don't give a fuck.
Let's achieve peace. Let's end this operation, and I'm telling you, our city will come back. Safety will be restored.
Okay, I want y'all to look at this. Now, hold on one second. I'm gonna turn this off. Okay, because it's in my ear. What do y'all see here? I know what I see as a tall woman. All the girlies 5'10" and up. You know exactly what I'm thinking about. The goddamn Lollipop Guild is mad because this is a man. Don't take me laughing or whatever or not taking this seriously. I'm black. We laugh at everything. Ain't no humor dark enough for us. The Lollipop Guild was absolutely triggered. Okay. First of all, if I was gonna date a white man, this is how I like him. Bearded, woke, and willing to die. Ashe. Ashe. We say Ashe when somebody lives their life for the revolution. We honor them in such a way. That's a fine ass white man. Yeah, I was gonna say it. Y'all all thinking it. You were thinking it, right? Y'all saying I'm wrong. I don't even be dating white men. But if I was, he would look like this. He'd be woke. And he was a nurse. And he was out there in them streets. And he put himself to defend women. My type. That's my type. It's giving Luigi. It's giving Luigi. He was a veteran. He was a critical care nurse, they said. That's how I like my white men. Bearded, woke, and ready to die. Okay? I'm just saying. You said you know it's going to be round 2 of Luigi. And so you saw how tall he was, right? So one thing that I've observed over the years, been paying attention to this because I actually care about this because I'm a Black woman in America. First time I was ever accosted by the police and hemmed up by the police, I was 14 years old. And I was just hanging out on the corner with my friends. Okay. Now I have since dealt with police in multiple capacities, right? As somebody who has been in them streets and, all them stuff like that. There's a very popular picture of me in the New York Times sitting with my comrades where arms are linked and the police are all behind us, ready to take us away. That's why when people come at me and they're like, what are you doing? Bitch, I've done more than you could ever imagine in your life. I actually get to sit in this chair because my legacy is solid. Okay. I have done enough work for this world to cover 3 lifetimes. So I actually get to sit in my house and post. Okay. But anyway, these dudes are short. Now I'm a 6 foot tall woman. I piss them off all the time. These dudes be like 5'2", 5'5". And again, no shade to my shorter kings. We love a short king. Y'all don't necessarily love us because patriarchy doesn't let you be okay with the fact that you're 5'2", 5'3", 5'4", 5'6". You have internalized the patriarchy that says that, and as have these men. So what happens? You got 2 types of people that join the police force. Well, 3. 4. I'm gonna give you 4. 4 types of people that join the police. Number 1, the easy ones. No, actually, we'll say 5. We'll say 5. 1, the ones that actually think that they're gonna help. I want to become a police officer because I want to help. I think that I can make a difference and I can help. Okay. Then you have the ones that are going just because it's a job. It's a steady job. It's a consistent job. It got benefits. It got a union, a regular check. It's whatever, right? You can retire after 20 years. You don't have to do nothing. Then you have the ones who don't really have any other options. Right? They, it's not hard to become a police officer. They don't really have any other options, things that they wanted to do. Maybe they wanted to go to college and study whatever, and they can't, so they become police officers. Then you had the people that were shoved in lockers because they were fucking losers. I'm not supposed to say that, but come on. Some of y'all were losers. That's why you got shoved in the locker. Anyway, they were, they wanted to be the jocks, but they weren't. They were the cornballs. Everybody gave them wedgies. You know who I'm talking about. Let's just be honest. Who's English Garden? You said to block that? Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Block this person and ban them and delete their comments. Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. So they want to go and become police officers because, you ain't gonna push me around no more. We represent the lollipop guild. You know, that's those guys. And then, I'm sorry, y'all. I missed it. That's my bad, y'all. I got it. I blocked that person. They're good. Don't engage them. Just put it up on here because I be talking. So I'm sorry. And then the last one that becomes a cop is the one who actually enjoys it. They enjoy harming people, right? I saw somebody had posted on Threads a study that showed that they like profiled MAGA and they did a whole study of MAGA folks, and they tend to be people who enjoy inflicting pain on other people. Now, as somebody who might identify as someone who likes to inflict pain on people, I find that really interesting, but not in the ways that they are. Like, these are like super abusive people, okay? I just want to set your pussy on fire. I don't necessarily want to like end your life, right? So they okay, sorry, y'all, we got a little too far. But I'm just saying that there are a lot of people that become police officers because they want the power to be able to harm people, particularly women, right? A lot of these men become police officers because they want to be the person that can pick up women. And look at Daniel Holtzclaw, right? Remember how he was a serial rapist of women, primarily Black women, and they only caught him because he I think he hurt this like grandmother, and then like this, I think that maybe this white woman or whatever, and then it was a middle class like grandmother, and then they actually looked into it and found that he was basically patrolling every night and just going out and sexually assaulting sex workers and women that were lower income and things like that. So a lot of them become this because that's what they want to do, right? They want to be abusive towards people. There's a lot of race. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of racism within policing. Police officers have 2 times the national rate for domestic violence, right? These are violent, awful people, right? This is why we say all cops are bastards, because if you're a good cop and you're working alongside the bastards and you're not doing anything to stop the bastards, then you're one of the bastards, right? So this is exactly what they want. It's who they want to be. So that's what we're seeing when we are looking at ICE and then what they're doing or what have you. Hold on. Was there something else that I wanted to show? Oh, let's look at Bovino. Bovino, I hate him. I hate him with the fire of like 1,000 fire ants from El Yunque.
Approached U.S. Border Patrol agents
with a
9mm. During this operation, an individual approached U.S. Border Patrol agents with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. The agents attempted to disarm the individual, but he violently resisted. Fearing for his life and the lives and safety of fellow officers, a Border Patrol agent fired defensive shots. Medics on the scene immediately delivered medical aid to the subject, but the subject was pronounced dead at the scene. The suspect also had 2 loaded magazines and no accessible ID. This looks like a situation where an individual wanted to do maximum damage and massacre law enforcement. During this...
Okay. So, you all heard that shit, right? You all heard that. Now, chat, does that align with what you saw? I showed different angles. Did that align with what you saw? That was a complete and utter lie. But the issue is that they are willing to say these things, just like Kristi Noem and Pam Bondi and all of them. They're so willing to hop on a microphone and say these things without an investigation, without anything. If this was anybody else or any other administration, they would be waiting and saying, we're going to wait to see, you know, what the investigation is. This is an ongoing investigation. I don't really have anything else to say. But, you know, we all saw it. We all saw it. He really, the same way that they tried to say that Renee Good was intentionally trying to run down an ICE agent, and we all saw that. We saw that she was turning away to get away from him. They're trying to tell us right now that the man that we just saw standing in the middle of the street with a camera recording, they're telling us that he came at police with a 9mm gun. Now, chat, you know I'm a gun owner. That was a camera. What a damn gun. Yes, this is historical fiction. Like, what are they talking about? What is going on? Okay, so I want you to see this other video where a journalist is asking him some questions. Hold on. Let's go back to the beginning here. Hold on. It's hard to hear.
An additional gun, or was the gun moved from the scene? And I watched the video from start to finish of that red jacket, and it doesn't seem like he pulled the weapon at any point. So the account come from the
look at his face.
They say they pulled the gun before, during, after. When does the gun come out?
Again, this situation's evolving. This is under investigation. Those
now
facts
it's
will
under
come to light.
investigation.
But let's take a look at the gun. You can see the gun here on the screen there that individual possessed.
He's allowed to have a gun, but y'all, I just want to make sure everybody understands that there was absolutely nothing wrong. There was absolutely nothing wrong with that. But also, guys, also, the Eighth Circuit granted the Trump administration's request to block, for the moment, the lower court's injunction limiting how federal agents could interact with protesters in Minnesota. Because remember, they were saying that there was a whole injunction where they were like, you can't tear gas them, you can't use pepper spray, you can't do all these. It started limiting how they can engage. But then a judge was like, well, I'm going to put a pause on that, and they can continue to go ahead and rough them up and do whatever they want to do, right? This is the world that we're living in. I just want to say, this is the goddamn country that we're living in, where they're like legislating whether or not, and legislating from the bench, and they're deciding whether or not people can use flashbangs and pepper spray and stuff on peaceful protesters, right? You know, you mentioned the Kavanaugh rule, and that is so important. We got 2 rapists on the bench. What do we do with that? We have 2 sexual assailants on the bench, at least 2. And these are the people that we expect to make best decisions about whether or not you can violate a person, right? That's who we are. That's who we are. Kavanaugh and Thomas, they're both sexual assailants. Some of you forget that Clarence Thomas is a sexual assailant. Likely because his victim was a Black woman, right? But this is just really this is really tough. Wait, hold on. Let me see. Let me show you this one. Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna show you this one. Bovino again. Okay, hold on.
One question. First question, when did agents learn that he had a gun, and did he ever brandish that weapon at agents?
Allie, this situation again is evolving. This situation is under investigation. Those facts will come to light. This particular incident is being investigated just like we investigate other similar incidents like we've done over the past several years. It's in the hands of professionals. Those facts will come to light.
All right, going on to the next question.
So, did he have an additional gun, or was the gun moved from the scene? And I watched the video from start to finish.
So it's really interesting to me that he's so confident in his statement that that Pretti came at them with a 9mm gun and had the intention of like a mass casualty event. But then when the people are like, we saw the video, right, my nigga? Like, we all saw that. Do you think I'm stupid? Like, that's really what they hit him. Do you think I'm stupid? Then he's like, well, hold on now. Let's wait for the investigation. Right. Like, and that's the thing that I think about. I think that's a really good point. Let me see if I can put this in the chat. Like, how do you lie so casually and straight face? Well, okay. This is where I get to be reverse racist. I think most white people are racially psychotic. Most. Not all. Because a lot of you in the chat are the righteous whitest. And you're here with me. And I love it, right? Let's just look at history, okay? Let's look at the history of white maleness and masculinity. Let's look at how violent and sadistic and sick it is. You're talking about descendants of people who purchased other people for the purposes of forced labor, sexual assault and violence, erotic sadism, all kinds of things. You're talking about the descendants of people who purchased children because of their erotic sadism and their vile, disgusting, predatory ways. You're talking about the people who are responsible for possessing 70% of the child sexual assault material. You're talking about the people who would set up something, excuse my nose, sorry, my nose is getting on my nerves. Anyway, would set up an island, would buy an island to where they could fly children to rape them repeatedly. You're talking about the people that set up a situation where they drug their wife and have like 80 men come and rape her. You're talking about the people who set up a Telegram, tens of thousands of people where they can discuss killing each other. You're talking about the people who created snuff porn. You're talking about the people who become church leaders and freaking every day we're learning about a new one that is being popped for raping children. There's something wrong with white people. And no, it's not just white people. But let me tell you something. Colonization is a bitch. Patriarchy is a European import and Arab, but we'll get there. But you know what I mean? Like, there are a lot of men that are colonized that are walking around. Yeah, David Koresh wasn't black. The fuck was that? Jim Jones wasn't black. When Timothy McVeigh wasn't black, right? When you think of some of the most heinous things that have happened in the history of the world, 7 times out of 10, it's a white man. Oh wait, let me block this person too. Let's see. I am very racist. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, it's okay. No, you're right. Like I said, I'm the righteous whitest. I coined that term well over a decade ago. The righteous whitest. These are the people who are the John Browns, the Heather Heyers, the Freedom Riders, the people who are willing to betray whiteness to do the right thing, right? You have to betray whiteness in order to be a good person. You have to betray white supremacy in order to be a good person. You have to reject everything that you have been taught about the superiority of whiteness in order to be a good person. And unfortunately, the average white person and most white people are unwilling to do that. The reason why white women don't do it is because they're protecting their sons. The same way most mothers who are, empathetic and connecting with their children will give their lives to protect their children. Somehow we expect that these white women are not going to protect their sons. Now, they ruin their daughters' lives. Trust me. White women, we know that your mama was a piece of shit. We know. We get it. But they will protect those boys. Again, patriarchy, right? European patriarchy. They're going to protect those boys. So I don't understand why y'all still expect them to do something different. We got to leave that alone. Let that go. Because all these ICE agents were raised by white mamas. I mean, there's a lot of them that are Latino or whatever, but okay, whiteness ain't about, it ain't just about how you look. There are a whole lot of Negropeans, Latinopeans, Asiapeans, these people who have internalized whiteness as the standard, and that's their aspiration, right? All them niggas you see out there being ICE agents aspire towards whiteness. All them, I ain't gonna call them, because I love a good slur. But all them Latino men that's doing it, first of all, like a lot of them are white anyway. Just because you are a Latino don't mean you can't be white. A lot of them are white already. All them goddamn white Cubans, all them white people that were celebrating with Maduro turned himself in. Let's clock it. Those are white people. All them folks in Florida that are in the Republican Party, those are white people with Spanish last names. Let's remember that Spain is in Europe. These are white people. There ain't no flavor, nothing. Ain't no salsa happening in their house. Okay, Representative Menendez is eating green bean casserole too. They white. Who is this? Who am I supposed to be blocking? You said block alert. Walton Garage. Okay, thank y'all. Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. I got it. Is there another one? Who else am I supposed to? Give me some names. I know I'm not here. Block Walter guy. I got that one. I got it. Okay, let me block this one too, because you're gonna say some stupid shit like this. White and black are just living together on equal terms. We say all lives matter. We trust cops. So you all got to vote to make changes. I'm gonna block you because you're stupid. I've been out there. It ain't all shiny happy people. Y'all hate niggas too. Shit, fuck it. All right, there's another one you said. We live. So I like I said, I'm stage managing my own stuff. Did I get them all? Also, stop responding to them. My inner racism is showing. Shut the fuck up. Ain't no inner racism here. Am I missing one? I think that's all I got. All right. If y'all let me block Linda, who's Linda? Linda something. Oh man, sorry y'all. Okay, here we go. White woman here. Why boil it down to white versus black? Oh, shut the fuck up. Oh, yes, thank you. I appreciate it. I do need some moderators. I appreciate you. We'll see what happens. Normally we can keep it contained. Normally it's our regular community, but I know that because of the topic and because of everything that's going on, that there's a lot of trolls. If you introduce yourself as a white woman here, I'm going to block you. I actually don't care what you have to say because that's how you identify yourself. White woman here. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, they think this is like Don Lemon or something where he gonna be nice. They think this is like Joy Reid. They're gonna be nice. I'm not nice. I'm izquierda. I'm gonna start saying that. I'm like izquierda. Come on. I don't like the term people of color, but I understand where you're coming from. Myron Gaines, he's what a loser. These people are losers. And it's just like, you're right. There's a lot of sock puppet accounts that are masquerading as people from the US. And definitely, I see that all the time. You got to just ignore them. I am like left of the left. I don't owe nobody shit. You right. I don't owe nobody nothing. It's a byproduct of the topic being hot. Right. They need to be seen. And so when you don't have friends and you don't have community and you don't have a group chat, that's what ends up happening. We have built this community. It's been over a year that I've had this show. So we all know who we are. Just like the same way you wrote like block alert, just put their name and I'll catch it because I be talking. But anyway, y'all, I'm glad that we can have this space. I'm glad that we could do this. you know, rest in peace to Alex Pretti. Like, this is, you know, I want to say shit's getting real, but have I not been telling y'all this for like years now? Those of you that have followed me for a long time, I told you this was coming. I told you to get prepared. Excuse me. Excuse me. I told y'all to go and train and get your guns if you can. Do others' weapons trainings. If you're not comfortable having a gun, learn how to throw knives or some shit. Like, you got to learn how to kill. You got to learn how to maim people. You got to learn how to fight back. You got to learn how to, you can't take this lying down. We can't. I'm sorry. Like, we can't take this lying down. We can't just let them come in. There's 2 weapons that we have. And I was gonna actually like kind of do a show and tell, but I also, again, I don't want them to come for me and like knock my channel off. But there's 2 main weapons that we have. Knowledge and steel. Okay. Some of you are not willing to wield the steel, and that's okay. But your value is in preparation, mental preparation, emotional preparation. You got to read the books. There's so many novels and books that have predicted this very moment. George Orwell, 1984, Animal Farm, Fahrenheit 451, Parable of the Sower, Parable of the Talents, The Hunger Games. There's all these books that have been talking about these things. Do robots dream of electric sheep, right? They always leave that one out, right? V for Vendetta. All these books that have existed that have been calling this moment. It's here. It's here. Revolutionary Suicide, Huey Newton. Go read that. I'm going to always plug Assata Shakur's autobiography. All these people that live through these different things or have the imagination, they have the gift to see and understand the world around it. And to, like, I hate when people say, oh, so-and-so is not an oracle or they just a writer. No. Not everybody's a good writer, folks. Not everybody has that connection to the art. So the way I think about art, right? This is going to sound weird to y'all, and I promise you I'm not high. And I kind of got introduced to this idea in middle school. Imagine that art is like an ozone layer, like the ozone layer. It just kind of exists out in the universe, right? And in order for us to experience it, there are people that have to channel it, or even animals or whatever. Maybe sometimes the earth channels it. Look at the Grand Canyon. That was the earth channeling art, right? Art gets channeled through entities in different ways. The painter, the sculptor, the singer, the musician, the writer, the actor, the poet, like art comes through people. And I remember reading that says, you know, you lose half of poetry when you put it into words, but at least you get half of it, right? The art comes through us. We are telling the stories. So it's important to think about how all these writers that were writing these books, perhaps, they were channeling something beyond them. And as a writer, as somebody who has those moments when I'm not even necessarily in the space. I'm just and I go and look back like, wow, I wrote all that. You got to see all of that, right? Block who? VMAX? Okay, y'all said. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So the books are there. The books are there. The literature is there. The stories are there. The guidance is there. The guidance is there. You just have to open up a book. And then the other thing we have is the steel. Did y'all not see them just shoot an unarmed man. And when I say unarmed, when we talk about people being armed, we talk about they have the shit in their hand. He did not have a gun in his hand. He posed absolutely no threat to any of these people around. All he was doing was protecting women, and that was the biggest threat that he posed. They shot that man the same way the same reason they shot Renee Good. They shot Renee Good and then painted this whole narrative about the smug liberal woman, because Renee Good was a queer white woman who dared to be in that space, right? White women are supposed to do what they say. White women are supposed to be at home preparing their incubators to reproduce the white race. You're not supposed to be fighting for anybody's liberation or freedom. You're not supposed to be going against the government. You're definitely not supposed to be sticking up for illegals. You are supposed to be at home preparing your incubator to produce white progeny. That's your job as a white woman in the United States. Okay? Alex was protecting the white women that were also, well, I'm not going to say white because I don't know. I saw one of them look like she was white, but he was protecting women. No, you are not supposed to protect women against the state that wants to use women however they want. So he dared get in the way of the state being able to literally control women. And they shot him to send a very clear message to all you white knights, wannabe saviors, all you men who think you're going to come out here and protect these women. We already taught the niggas now to not do it. Now we're going to teach you. Oh, clock what I just said. Hear what I just said. You know why black men are so unlikely to protect black women? It's because of centuries of beating it and hanging it and shooting it and torturing it out of them. Black men over centuries have been trained to see black women as liabilities, because manhood in a Eurocentric and European patriarchy requires that you protect women and children. The easiest way for white men to deny black men access to real manhood is to make sure they don't take care of the women. Make sure they don't protect the women. So what did they do? Anytime black men stood up to an overseer, stood up to a master, tried to protect a black woman, cut his balls off, cut his penis off, tortured him with the whip, hung him, shot him, to send a message. Don't you dare stand up for these black women. We own them. You will never be a man because we will never allow you to protect them. Right? That's why Say Her Name exists, because of the embarrassment that black men experience when they can't protect their women from state violence. This is a centuries-long generational trauma that they have. And so what happens when you're not allowed to do something? You begin to disparage it. You begin to act like you ain't want to do it anyway. That's why you see so many of brothers that are antagonistic towards black women. Well, they ain't shit. They ain't nothing. They ain't worth nothing. I ain't protecting nobody I don't know. I ain't putting myself on the line. That is 20 generations of trauma. How'd you come up with 20 generations, Dr. T? Well, a generation is on average 15 to 20 years, and we're talking 400 years of slavery. Do the math. 20 generations of punishing black men for protecting black women now results in black women being the least protected people on the planet. You understand what I'm saying? So they already got black men on that, right? The goddamn Chinese killed all their daughters, right? The machismo in the Latinos, they did enough. They don't even have to do anything with Latinos. They have cultivated the machismo where the Latino men beat their daughters and beat their wives and beat their sisters and beat their damn mamas. They don't care. They do the work for them. Every single group that has been touched by them. Look at what's happening in India. Look at how the Indian men swarm those women. Massive gang rapes all the time in the news. Women are not safe in India around those poor men, those colonized men. So they did the work, right? But now, white men who are charged with protecting women, in fact, everything that white men have done in this world significantly, for the most part, has been about defending white womanhood, right? That's why Emmett Till is dead, right? That's why so many brothers were swinging from trees, right? But now they're telling white men, don't you dare. Don't you dare try to protect these women that we believe we have the right to do whatever we want. And that's just it. That's just it. So, but I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all being here. This is correct. The police and the devil, like, y'all really think, okay, let me, before I go, let me just, since y'all are new here, a lot of people don't know me. Go fuck about these Democrats. They all full of shit. It's all the same damn party. Like I said yesterday, they go to lunch together. They be on the same yachts together. They was on that island together. Gavin Newsom's old work is with to Trump. Like, come on. Donald Trump just said Gavin Newsom's a good guy. He's a great guy, actually. He said he's a great guy at the conference where he embarrassed the United States on the world stage. They're all in this together. If Hakeem Jeffries sends out one more post, light-eyed devil that he is, that's why I don't trust niggas with light eyes. Look at Richie Torres, Cory Booker. What is happening? 25 hours of shitting on himself, and then what has he done since? He married his beard? Come on. They're all full of shit. They're all full of shit. So the Democrats are not going to come save you. They ain't going to do nothing. The person with the most goddamn gumption is Elizabeth Warren. And that's because she's smart. Listen, ain't nobody coming to save you. When ICE shows up at your door demanding to come in and see your papers and demanding that you prove that you are here legally, you know what most of you are going to do? You're going to go and get your papers. And you're going to be like, I'm legal. I got my passport right here. You're going to be like, that's my passport. It's my passport. I'm legal. I'm legal. No. Like these people, you don't have to show them nothing. Don't let them into your house. But that's what most of you are going to do. Because self-preservation is going to be the most important thing for you. The revolution is not. Most of you are just going to want to survive this. You're not going to fight. You're not going to resist. Because when it comes down to it, most of you are not willing to give your lives to make sure that there's a better future for people. And that's just the truth of it, right? You'll let them in. You'll prove it. And eventually, you and your children are going to lean into this whole, well, I'm a real citizen. That's what always happens. I actually read the history books. The Democrats are going to acquiesce to everything like they always do. And so will you. Now, a few of you are going to clack that thing. You're like, get out my face. I'll be right there with you. I've lived a good life. I don't know about you. My legacy is already written in stone. So I ain't worried about it. I got my child to college. My goal was to get my child at 18 years old, get him to college. I sure did that. I ain't got nothing else to lose. So here we go. You got to figure out today, is it going to be me? Is it going to be them? Am I going to die on my feet or live on my knees? I'm just saying, y'all thought this shit was theoretical. It's happening right in front of your face. This is going to become a daily occurrence. We're going to start seeing this happen every single day. And at some point, you're going to have to figure out what side you're on. I'm on freedom's side. I don't know about you. But anyway, I love you all. I love you all with the love of liberation. I love you with the love of my ancestors. I love you with the love of the freedom fighters. I love you with the love that Alex Pretti had for those women today and the love that he had for freedom. I love you with the love that's willing to risk my life. so that the future could be better. I want you to be there with me. I want you to share that love. And remember, like I always tell y'all, you wake up in the morning, you look in the mirror and you say, I believe that we will win. And before you go to bed, you say, I believe that we will win. You have to believe this. You have to know this. You have to commit to this. It's now or never. Whose side are we on? We on freedom's side. I love y'all, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of your evening. Stay warm this weekend if you can. If you don't have to go outside, don't go outside. Listen, if you're struggling and you don't have food in the house or whatever, please post on social media. If you need some aid and stuff like that, we'll share it and we'll get you some food and get some money to you. If you want to throw some coins my way, I'm happy to redistribute to those people that are in need. Or if you just want to support me because I do this and it is what it is, cool. But I just always going to continue to create this space. Like I said, if you're new here, subscribe. We do this every Tuesday and Friday. That QR code in the corner is my merch. If you want to buy the merch, I hate to say that. I forgot it was even there. I forgot to take it down. But just to announce, we got some Black History Month workshops going on. Actually, let me just show you how the page. Let me make sure I show you how the page because I think I want y'all to see what we got. I meant to do this yesterday and I didn't because I'm a loser. It's okay. All right. So Black History Month, we're doing every Wednesday in February, starting February 4th. I'm doing African American queer history. The next week, I'm doing African American cinema. Then I'm doing unsung African American women. Then I'm doing African American social philosophers. It's going to be Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. And you can register. If you go on here, it's $25 per class. But if you want to, like if I click this and you want to pay what you can, because all my stuff is pay what you can, notice here I have a link for each class where you can go and pay what you can. So if all you can afford is $0, then you can still register for $0. If all you got is $3 or $5, this link will let you pay what you can. If you want to give more because you want to support people, you can pay at that link. Or you can actually just buy multiple ones of this, right? Because you'll get the link to join. So that's the options that you have for these particular classes. And you can just join. Like I said, we're doing different workshops and stuff. It's all about knowledge. It's all about education. It's all about us getting free. So I want you all to join me for this Black History Month. There's an attack on Black History Month. There is attack on Black Studies. There's attack on Women's Studies, all kinds of cultural studies. I am a professor. I am also a public scholar. Who is trying to call me? I have been educating for a very long time. I believe in knowledge for liberation. So I'm offering these workshops. Even if 100 people come and it's all zeros, it's okay. I'm still doing the work that my ancestors have called me to do. I want you to join me. Come get some knowledge. Come get some education. Also, if you're on Patreon, you guys know that Monday I'm starting an online asynchronous class about the U.S. Empire after 1865. You can go to patreon.com/FeministaJones and you can register. As long as you're a $10 or above subscriber, you have access to this online class. People talk all the time about they want to take classes from me. So it's a 7-week online course. Reading assignments, discussion boards, the whole nine. So join me over there. Again, it's all about education for liberation. And I hope to see you guys on Tuesday. Those of you that were new, you came to see what my lives are about. You came to talk about this moment. I understand. But we do this all the time. We are talking about stuff that is happening all the time in real time. So come and join us. Come and join our community. We love and appreciate you. And I love you all. So take care. I'm going to go eat some food now. All right, bye.